Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I want to show you how to make my delicious pumpkin spiced pancakes. As I just mentioned, today I want to show you how to make my delicious pumpkin spiced pancakes. Now this recipe is really easy to do and it's a great one to make with kids as well. My husband and son aren't that keen on pumpkin, but I love it, and if you love it in your family as well, then this is a really great recipe to have, and I will link the recipe in the description box below for you. I'm going to have these for my breakfast, and I think I'm going to put eggs on top of them. I know that sounds like a bit of a weird combination, but I thought I'd give it a try and see how it is. But you can have these with maple syrup. You could also have these as a snack with jam on if you wanted to, and they also make a really great dessert as well. You could serve these warmed up with ice cream. I'm going to make a big batch of them today and keep them in the freezer so I can have them with my breakfast, or if I fancy a snack then I'll have one as a snack. So while I was making them, I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious pumpkin spiced pancakes. So yesterday, as you can see, I've roasted a whole pumpkin. So what I did was I put holes into the pumpkin and then I preheated my oven to 200 degrees, and once the oven was preheated I put the pumpkin in for about an hour, and this is it roasted. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the lid. So I'm going to just cut a hole in the top and remove this part like so. And then I'm going to scoop out the seeds from the inside. So I'm just going to scoop out all of these seeds. Now you might think this is a bit of a palaver, but I do like roasted pumpkin. I don't know why, I just really love the taste of roasted pumpkin. Now I know if you live in America you can probably get pumpkin in a tin, like cooked pumpkin in a tin. So if you want to buy cooked pumpkin then you could do. But I really like just using this method. And also, if you do use this method, then you can always cook the pumpkin seeds as well. You can put herbs and spices on them and stuff. I haven't actually done a recipe on that yet, but I think I'm going to try that this year. I'm going to try and cook them. I tried it in my stoneware, but unfortunately, I think where the stoneware absorbs some of the badness, it also takes out some of the water, and it makes them a bit, I don't know, they were a bit funny. But I think if I did it in a baking tray with some greaseproof paper, then that I think would work better. So once you've got all of the seeds out, I think that's all of them in there. Yeah, once you've got all of the seeds out, you're then going to scoop out the flesh from the inside. So this comes away really nicely. Look, you can just peel the skin off, and you're only going to need about 250 grams, which isn't a lot for this recipe, but the rest of this I'm going to put in my deep freeze, and then I can use it in other recipes as well. So I'm just going to scoop out now 250 grams from this pumpkin. So I've got 250 grams of cooked pumpkin now, and I'm just going to set that aside. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to blend my oats. So this is similar to this last video I did. So I like to use oats in my pancakes. I find these a lot more filling than just white flour. So I've got 200 grams of oats that I am going to, if I can, without spilling, trying not to spill, sorry. I'm going to put these into my NutriBullet, and I'm going to grind these up until they make a flour. And to that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder as well. So I'm just going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. And then I've got some spices here, obviously to make them pumpkin spice. So I've got a teaspoon of ground ginger that I'm going to put in. And then I've got a teaspoon of ground sweet cinnamon. If you don't have ground sweet cinnamon, ground cinnamon is fine. I buy this in my local supermarket and it's really nice. It's a lot more cinnamon-y, if that's the word, than ordinary ground cinnamon, and it smells a lot stronger as well. And then I'm going to use, I think it's about like a tiny amount of ground nutmeg, so a 1/4 teaspoon I think I'm going to use there. Ground nutmeg and ground cloves are quite strong spices, so that's why I'm only using a little bit of them. You don't want too much. And I've got another 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves there as well. So I'm going to add that in. And now I'm going to blend these ingredients together until they form a flour. So I'm just going to blend these together now. So that has formed a lovely flour. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put that into my mixing bowl, and I'm just going to set that aside. And now I'm going to blend all of my other ingredients together. So I have here my 250 grams of pumpkin. I'm going to see if this fits through here. I'm not sure it will. I may have to remove. Oh no, it does, it fits, that's good. So I'm just going to add that to my NutriBullet cup. And then I'm going to add about 400 mils of milk to that as well. So I think just below the line on the NutriBullet is where about 400 mils is. So I'm just going to take that off. And now I'm going to blend these ingredients together. So put that on. That's my NutriBullet ingredients blended together. So I've blended those until they look like a smoothie. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those ingredients to the flour, and I'm just going to mix everything together. And I like to do it bit by bit to start with. I think I mentioned this in my last video, which was another pancakes video that I put up on Tuesday, that I like to mix the ingredients so that I get all the flour off the bottom. So I add the wet ingredients bit by bit basically. So all of the flour is well mixed in, like so. And I also like to use a fork instead of a whisk, because I find with my whisk, I don't know what it is, but this sort of ingredient tends to get all caught up in the bottom of it. So I find a fork a lot easier to use. It does get stuck to the fork, but it's easier to wipe off with the fork, if that makes sense. So I'm just whisking these together. I am making these vegetarian because I am using eggs, but if you wanted to make these vegan, then you could add a couple of bananas to the wet ingredients and whisk them together. I don't tend to blend the eggs because they tend to go a bit frothy, so I don't tend to blend the eggs in the NutriBullet. I'm just going to add those in at the end like so, and then I'm going to whisk everything together now, like so. So as you can see, it's got a lovely, awesomely orangey yellow colour. I love that colour at this time of year, especially when it's hanging off the trees as well. It makes me feel like winter is finally on its way. I don't know about you, but I do love to know that winter is on its way. Makes it feel like the earth is still going round somehow. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, yep, I've whisked these ingredients together now, and I'm just going to add a pinch of salt to this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the fridge overnight, and then I'm going to cook them off in the morning. And the reason I do this is because it allows the porridge oats to soak up a lot of the milk, and then that helps with the digestive enzymes. So these will be, oats aren't really meant for our stomachs. If you soak them, they're much better for you. You can digest them easier if you soak them. So that's why I like to soak them overnight. So yeah, I'm going to put this in the fridge now, and I'll show you what I'm going to do tomorrow. So it's the next day now, and as you can see, this mixture is a little bit stiffer. It's not as bad as the last one I made. The last one I made with the banana, and that tends to go quite solid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just only going to add a drop of milk to this mixture, because I don't want it too wet. I still want it to be able to turn into a pancake. So, but yeah, that's a lot better. You just want to break it up a little bit sometimes. When it sits in the fridge overnight, as I said earlier, I think in this video, it tends to soak up all of the oats. So it does tend to make it go a bit stiffer. So you just want to break up the porridge mixture, the pancake mixture. So now what I'm going to do, now I've done that, is I've got 2 frying pans here, and I'm going to put both of these onto a high heat. And then I'm going to add a little bit of oil to those. So I've got some coconut oil that we buy from Costco. That's why it's in such a huge tub. Kirkland is their own brand. It's organic virgin coconut oil, and Costco was the cheapest place we could find to buy this sort of stuff. So, and I do put quite a lot of oil in the bottom of these pans. I find that they tend to stick if I don't. I know these are non-stick pans, but they do tend to stick if I don't put a lot of oil in. So I'm just going to let these pans heat up and let the oil melt down now. So my pans are getting nice and hot, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of pancake mixture to the base of the pan, like so, and I'm just going to spread that out a bit with a spoon. I'm going to put that back on the hob. I'll do one in the other pan as well. Normally I do 2 in that one and 1 in this. I just find it cooks them quicker. So I'm just going to put some more in this pan, and then I'll show you how I know when the bottom side is cooked. So what I tend to do is I tend to wait for the outside of the pancake to cook. Once the outside is cooked, normally the bottom part is cooked as well. So that's how you know. The first few batches generally tend to take a little bit longer, but once the pan gets hot and you get going, it's only a very short time before they start cooking on the bottom. So I can see this one is, oh no, not quite. I'm just going to leave that a few more seconds. So yeah, I'll just show you there. As you can see, it's starting to cook around the outside of the pancake. So I think this will now be okay to flip over like so. So yeah, it's a lovely golden brown colour, and then you just wait for it to solid up, basically, go harder. I'll turn this one over as well, actually. That one's perfect, look at that. Lovely. So yeah, once they start to cook, that's it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cook the rest of the batch. So that is my batch of pancakes cooked, and I'm going to leave these to cool, and then I'm going to put them in my freezer, and in a few days time I'm going to have these with some eggs on top. They are slightly sweet, so I'm not sure how they're going to taste with eggs on top, but I am really looking forward to trying it anyway. So yeah, that's my pancakes cooked. So that's how you make my delicious pumpkin spice pancakes, and if I haven't already, then I'm going to mention it now. I will link this recipe in the description box below for you, and again, I'm really looking forward to trying this with eggs for my breakfast soon. And if you try that, then please let me know in the comments below. But for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.